Hello, I'm Victor, and this is The Junkyard. I've made a few forays into the combined franchises of Alien and Predator in previous reviews, and yet I've never looked at the original movies from either. I see no urgent need to change this, so today we are going to be looking at Predator 2.
I guess the whole idea for this one is that the Predator will move out of the wilderness and start hunting in the big city. Please. The last movie took place in a South American jungle. What kind of urban environment could ever hope to be as dangerous and scary as... yeah. Well, we start in the middle of a shootout between drug lords and the police, which Danny Glover sorts out through the use of resourceful badassery. He then goes against orders from his higher-ups and heads in to dig out the hold-up criminals. The main guy realizes he's being hunted by someone or something invisible, and ends up freaking out during a showdown with Glover, who puts him down. After establishing that our hero has a fear of heights and that something tore out most of the bad guys before the police could even get there, Danny is chewed out by superiors and condescended to by the feds. Soon we're introduced to Corporal Hicks's great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-grandfather, an aggressively annoying, newly transferred detective, and... crap.
He's the cocky young cop with something to prove. The movie wants us to like him. Well, if there is one thing that Bill Paxton is good at, it's being likable in spite of himself. Might be some kind of voodoo curse.
Speaking of which, a mostly pointless scene between some voodoo-themed drug lords and a themeless gang leader is interrupted by the Predator, who wipes out everyone but the cowering trophy wife or maybe prostitute of Themeless. Glover's team, again going against orders, checks out the carnage and again gets brayed by Gary Busey, who even threatens to make him disappear. Now, here I have issues. I know secret government is an easy bad guy, I sympathize. But when Glover decides to send some of his team out to investigate the feds while the whole city is going to hell, I have to wonder if he's got his priorities straight. In fact, it is by spying on Busey that Hicks earns Glover's respect. To be fair, what he found was pretty damning. The witness from the last massacre was spirited away in a helicopter on her way to the hospital. Meanwhile, Danny is retrieving a piece of Predator weaponry that the feds missed. Unfortunately for him, the Predator didn't forget about it either. When Glover finds out about Danny's demise, he, after the requisite "you're walking on thin ice, don't be a cowboy, I'll have your badge" scene, like the 20th in the movie, confronts Busey.
This is out of your jurisdiction. Well, this ain't your city. You're in over your head. You don't know what you're dealing with. You don't know what you're dealing with. No, you. No, you. 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 Move it along, movie.
So we cut to Busey's operation, which is a pretty high-tech outfit in the Slaughterhouse District. They're preparing for... something. Back to Glover, he manages to pry the Predator weapon out of Danny's hand, something the Predator failed to do himself, and takes it to the crime lab for analysis. After about 3 seconds in an analyzer...
Astonishing. This material doesn't correspond to anything on the periodic table.
Just astonishing? Either your equipment's failing, or you're encountering something scientifically significant. It's more than astonishing, woman. What is she, a Vulcan? Anyway, Glover soon ends up talking to a representative of the Voodoo Gang who, as you would expect from a bunch of toking mystics, manages to give no useful information, then dies. After a short scene of the Predator fussing over his new trophy, we see Glover's team figuring out that everything goes back to the slaughterhouses. After an amusing bit where the Predator takes a few seconds to consider whether or not a kid with a toy gun is fair game, and by not taking the shot proving himself to have more restraint than the average city cop, he taunts Glover with Danny's necklace. Our hero has been singled out. We next see the Predator stalking the subway train. Like the top of the moving train. For some reason. Anyway, chaos ensues. As Leona directs passengers away from the carnage, Hicks gets killed.
Game over, man! Game over! I had to.
After stopping the train, Leona also confronts the Predator who, spotting that she's apparently preggers, leaves her alone. Glover shows up and, seeing the Predator make off with Hicks' head, gives chase. This is soon interrupted by Busey's team, who finally fill him in. They're dealing with an alien, with technology that the government is hungry for. Of course, he also reveals that the Predator has a self-destruct device that could take out 300 city blocks, so you can suddenly understand why they're so worried about proceeding carefully. Soon a team is sent in, wearing insulated suits to hide from the Predator's infrared vision, so that they can capture him.
By the way, they also point out that the Predator goes back to the Slaughterhouse District to feed on some of the beef that's stored there, which establishes that while he may hunt people, he doesn't eat people. That actually pisses me off more for some reason. I mean, there are little larvae starving in... and yet he's wasting food.
In any case, Busey's team failed to account for the possibility of the Predator having UV goggles in that mask, and they are soon beset. While the team gets slaughtered, Glover arms up and heads in. Water from some convenient sprinklers shorts out the alien's cloak, and a shootout ensues. Glover manages to plug a few good holes in the Predator, and in a moment of morbid curiosity, lifts up his mask.
You are one ugly mother.
Oh man, I made fun of Alien vs. Predator for doing this exact same thing. Totally forgot that Predator 2 left out the motherfucker. I love you too, movie.
Well, the tables have turned on Glover, but fortunately a pan-blackened Busey steps in to allow our hero time to escape. As a reward for his courage, the Predator uses the movie's coolest new weapon, the smart disc, to cut Busey in half. Yeah, ultimate my ass, you fresh air-loving freaks. Where was I? Ah, yes. Predator and Glover stalk each other on the rooftops for a while until the latter pushes the former off the building. The Predator is left hanging by the human's arm as he prepares to set off his self-destruct gauntlet. Glover grabs the disc and quickly disarms the poor sport. The Predator manages to put some distance between himself and Glover, and takes some time to heal himself while our hero slowly climbs his way over.
I have to admit, I like how they handled the Predator in terms of balance. I mean, he's got, greater hunting techniques and greater technology, but the humans also have, their own detective techniques and their own technology, their own processes. Between the human efforts and the various just bad luck that he experiences, the Predator is prevented from being, too overpowered, and meanwhile his endless bag of tricks prevents the humans from keeping the upper hand.
Soon the Predator is back on his feet, with Glover following close behind. The human ends up dropping directly onto the Predator's ship. He makes his way inside, and the general design makes a point of suggesting that it's more visible in infrared. I also assume the mist implies a higher humidity preference, but who knows. We also see his trophy case in full, and can anyone spot an old friend? Well, here it comes down to the nitty-gritty. Hand-to-hand combat, both parties wielding impossibly sharp, short-range weapons. Just as it looks like Glover is down, he ends up gutting the Predator with his own disc. Suddenly, an assload of Predators materialize and, after a tense moment, drag their cousin's corpse away. An elder Predator, or maybe that's just what their women look like, tosses Glover a pistol dated to 1715, then takes off. Glover, who just barely escapes the takeoff itself, is soon confronted by what's left of Busey's team, who laments the missed opportunity the lost alien represents. Glover replies that they'll get another chance. Fade to black.
So, good solid movie, I thought.
A very solid action piece. The first half was a bit slow and, frankly, rife with cliches, but it still managed to maintain tension. The second half, with human and Predator hunting each other down, is one of the best cat-and-mouse sequences I've ever seen. While I would say that the first Predator had the stronger opening half and more interesting supporting characters, I would say Predator 2 had the stronger closing half and more interesting hero. And as predicted, Paxton did manage to make his character more likable than he deserved to be.
Now, if I may, a complete change of subject. Alien vs. Predator Requiem.
I was kinda amazed to find that, in the comments section of my review of the film, there were at least 2, maybe more people who berated me for my ignorance of the name the Predator in that film was never given. Wolf. Now, first of all, that name is ridiculous. It's like if my parents had named me Targ, except that while I can pronounce Targ, a Predator would have to struggle somewhat to get Wolf past his mandibles. Secondly, again, he wasn't named in the film. Even if he was named in the credits, and I seem to remember that he wasn't, it wouldn't matter. It wasn't in the film itself, and I was reviewing the film itself. Thirdly, I assume that most of my viewers have noticed that I rarely use characters' proper names. Why would I call the unnamed Predator Wolf when I was calling Kelly female lead? And mind you, if you know the real name of the Predator in Predator 2, like Slice or Wallaby, feel free to post a comment. Just don't assume that I should know.
Anyway, so that this review doesn't end on an antagonistic note, I would just like to reiterate that I quite enjoyed Predator 2. Well, this has been Victor with the Junkyard. Thanks for watching and have a good day.
Oh, damn.